Hello, what is up party people? Welcome back to my channel. What the hell? Sorry, a bug just like aggressively flew out my window. Hello, welcome back to my channel. I'm Jamila, this is JemilaBeReadin, because I do be reading, and this bug is still playing games. I don't like that. Anyways, before I was rudely interrupted, I've completely lost concentration on what I was talking about. Sorry for a chaotic beginning. This video is a video in which I am reading the lowest and the highest rated romance books on my physical TBR. This is a very popular like genre of book talk video where people read like the highest and lowest books on their TBR, and I was thinking about doing this for a while, but I didn't want to do like my entire physical TBR. One, because I have too many books on my physical TBR, and that would just be such a wide range of different kinds of books. So I decided to start yet another series here where I'll be reading the highest and lowest rated books on my physical TBR based on genre. And today we're doing romance. I put all of my romance books that I own physically into a folder on Goodreads. That's just my romance physical TBR. I have 50 books, which is truly an outrageous number. 50 just romance books, by the way, not not in general. And so I, sorted it by average rating and looked at the highest and lowest, and I'm gonna read them. The lowest rated book on my TBR is Bear With Me Now by Katie Shepherd. I believe this book came out last year. Last year at some point. Yeah, in 2023. So there's that. And then we have We Could Be So Good by Cat Sebastian, which is the highest rated book on my physical TBR. Another book that I think came out last year. Yes. Cat Sebastian is an author that I've heard a lot of good things about. They write a lot of queer, mostly like MLM. MLM or like Achillean romances. And so this is my first time reading from this author, and I'm hoping for some good luck. Kate Shepherd, I think this might be her debut, maybe? I've never heard of this author before, so in any case, these are the two books that I'm reading for this video. I also just wanted to say both of these books were gifted to me. I'm like in the Berkeley and Avon influencer program, so I was able to select these books at various points last year. I'm not going to change my decision or my thoughts on the book, obviously, but just wanted to give you a heads up. If I had to guess, this is really funny because I'm filming this intro after I already read these books, so I already know what my thoughts are. But even before I started, I feel like I actually feel indifferent towards both of these. Actually, I have no idea. I feel rather indifferent towards both of these. I haven't read from either author, and I actually haven't even heard many people talking about either book, so I don't have any preconceived notions, or I didn't have any preconceived notions going into these books, so we'll just have to wait and see what my thoughts are. So roll the clips. Hello, editing me here to pop in and let you guys know about the very dire situation that is happening in Rafah right now. There are currently 1.5 million people who are in Rafah, which is right by the border of Palestine and Egypt. There's nowhere for them to go. Israel told them to evacuate, but there's literally nowhere else to go besides Egypt. And as many of you might be aware, it is extremely, extremely expensive for people to get out and to cross the border into Egypt and evacuate. People are having to pay thousands, sometimes tens of thousands, to get themselves and their families out. If you're a fellow book girly like myself, Lean, a book talker, and some other book talkers like Satoria and Sanjana and some other folks have put together this Gaza evacuation book auction that is happening right now. It is going on until May 12th. There are a ton of amazing, cool stuff that you can bid on. All the money is going towards people to evacuate Gaza. It's really great. Already, they've raised $100,000. Like I said, there's a lot of amazing things that you can bid for. I personally donated my Illuminate special editions of the Greenbone Saga that is available to bid on. So if you've been looking for it or wanting to get your hands on that, now is the chance, and your money is going to a very good cause. If you are not able to bid or participate in that, Operation Olive Branch, which I'll have linked down below, has a spreadsheet of a bunch of different families and people who are trying to fundraise to evacuate. You can go and look and donate as you can or share. I know Erin Hadimer, another large TikToker, has put together this project called Pass the Hat, where she's trying to get particularly large content creators, but just content creators in general, to like adopt a family and then help that family raise funds by talking about the fundraiser, the GoFundMe, and all that stuff. So if you are a content creator, no matter big or small, particularly if you're on Instagram or TikTok, I highly recommend checking that out and adopting a family if you can. If you cannot do any of that or donate, I really encourage you guys to share. You can follow the Gaza Book Auction. You can follow Operation Olive Branch on social media and share all of that information. And as always, free Palestine. Hello, this is a really weird angle, and also I think the lighting is really bad. But this is where I will be giving you my first update. So I started Bear With Me Now. I figured, why not start with the worst book, the least rated, the least favorably rated? I don't know what I'm trying to say. And that is Bear With Me Now by Katie Shepherd. How far am I? I'm only 86 pages into this book. I'm not hating it. Like, I don't really feel anything yet. Like, I'm having a decent time. I'm feeling entertained while reading it. I will say, I think that there's going to be like a lie or a secret that the male main character is going to have that just doesn't make any sense to me. I'm not sure if it's leading that way, but if it is, I think it's gonna piss me off a little bit. Like, it's just a little bit nonsensical. But in any case, this is following Tegan, who gets he's just released from the hospital. He had like a panic attack, mental breakdown, because he was overworked, and his younger sister, picks him up from the hospital and kind of whisks him away to this like very bougie wellness retreat. And he then meets Darcy, who works there like predominantly as like maintenance staff, even though she was hired on to be like a trail guide, like wilderness guide. And the premise, like the opening premise of this, is that he kind of wanders off hiking alone, and he doesn't really know what he's doing, and he comes across a bear, and he gets attacked by the bear, and Darcy saves him. And I feel like I was expecting it to be a little bit more silly goofy, to be a little bit more exaggerated. I think that's what I wanted. It was like pretty like tame as far as wacky goofy times go. Yeah, I didn't feel much about it. But yeah, I'm not hating this so far. I'm interested to see where it's gonna go. I hope the thing that like the secret, or the thing that's probably gonna break them apart at the end, the third act conflict, is going to annoy me, but let's hope not. I will come back with more updates once I'm further into this book. Cracking a cold one. That cold one being a passion fruit LaCroix. Yep. Anyways, I'm here to talk more about Bear With Me Now. I am almost done with this book, as you can see. I have this much left, so I'm hoping to finish that within like the next hour, hopefully. I feel like indifferent to mild like of this book, I think. I imagine this is gonna end up being a 3-star read for me. And I think I'm understanding, because I was like kind of perusing the Goodreads reviews for this book. to try to figure out like why it has such a low rating. And I don't think it's one of those books where people either love it or hate it. I think everyone is also just giving it a 3-star read. Like, it's a perfectly serviceable romance. It's a perfectly serviceable romance, and I'm enjoying it. I like the two leads' relationship, actually. It's a very much opposites attract situation. The main characters, Tegan and Darcy, like Tegan is very like grew up wealthy, very like straightforward, straight-laced individual. Because his mother, I'm gonna like probably get into spoiler territories, just FYI. This video is not gonna be very long because I'm only reading 2 books, so I'm just going to get into spoilers, I think. So, spoiler warning. So Tegan grew up wealthy-ish. So his father wasn't in his life, and his mother dealt with alcoholism and was a very like flighty mother. His younger sister is like kind of significantly younger than him. I think he's like 15 years older than his younger sister, half sister. And he kind of like ended up raising her basically, and he's just dealing with a lot of anxiety built up in his life from just like having to, you know, become an adult younger and having to deal with like an alcoholic mother and just like feeling the need to take care of everyone and not really be able to like voice his opinions and his wants, and putting everyone else's needs ahead of his. And then we have Darcy, who is, you know, didn't really grow up wealthy. She grew up kind of poor, moving around a lot. And on top of that, she struggles with like reading and writing. She has dyslexia, although she like never got a diagnosis. So it's like really put an impact on her like career aspirations. She joined the Navy because she kind of needed something to do, couldn't afford to pay for college. And again, struggled like with the academic portions of it. And then when she left it, she couldn't even advance very far in the Navy because, again, she like really struggled with like reading and writing. And then she left and then has been in college for like the last 12 years trying to get her bachelor's degree in like wildlife management because she wants to be like a park ranger. She really wants to work in like wildlife, all that stuff. But she like really struggles because, one, she has to like work a lot to like live, right? She like her GI Bill doesn't cover everything. And 2, again, she struggles with like the academic portions of this. So she's like a really tough, like straightforward person, like really is trying to whip Tegan into shape. And like, so the whole premise of this book, right, is that Tegan has a panic attack that sends him to the hospital, and he goes to like an inpatient kind of rehab situation. And when he's released, his younger sister takes him to this wellness retreat where Darcy is working. He's there for a couple of weeks. He kind of grows closer to Darcy because she kind of takes his care into his own hands. She's also operating under the impression that he's an alcoholic. He doesn't put a lot of effort to clear it up. I won't say that he didn't at all. Like when he's at the wellness retreat, he's like constantly telling her that he's not an alcoholic, but she doesn't believe him because he's like at like this sober wellness retreat and all of this stuff. So it's a really annoying miscommunication. I feel like he really could have cleared this up if you know, he wanted to, but then inevitably he has to leave early, and Darcy goes with him as his sober companion, and she's like trying so, like, first of all, she's not like trained for this, but she's trying so hard. Like, she's trying really hard to be a good sober companion for him. And on top of that, like, they're developing like a romantic relationship. They pretty immediately start fooling around with each other when they get back to New York City and all of this stuff. So that's kind of like unprofessional in that space, but whatever. She's just trying like really hard for him, and it's just kind of like tough to watch because he's just not like saying anything because he wants her to stick around. And then he's also working really hard to like help her find a job because he wants her to like stay in New York. He also wants her to like pursue her dreams, but she doesn't like, she keeps taking on jobs that she's like overqualified for because she's so afraid of like having to write like reports and stuff like that because she struggles with dyslexia. So he's like really trying to help her. He's like doing her resume and cover letter. He's like literally like, go be this park manager, like I will write your reports for you. Like it's I think it's sweet that they're like working so hard for each other. Like I like their relationship, but I just this lie is just so stupid. I don't know why Tegan is like not clearing this up, and I don't know why he would feel more shame about having a panic attack than being an alcoholic. Like obviously those are two different things and you shouldn't feel shame about either of those things. But it seems weird to me. And he's like even telling other people like in his personal life that he was in rehab for alcoholism to continue on with this lie. So now other people like are believing this, and I'm just like, why? Like why? It just doesn't make any sense to me. I don't really understand. It doesn't make sense. And it's just really frustrating. And it's such a stupid lie. I feel like this book probably could have been exactly the same had that component not been in there, and she just went to help him like not work as much and help him with like his panic attacks and stuff. I don't know, it's really frustrating. But other than that, like I do like their relationship, and I really liked the intimate scenes in this book also. It's like pretty like, it's not very heavily in here, but like the first time that they have a moment with each other, he's taking medication like antidepressants and like anxiety medications, and it kind of impacts, you know, his ability to perform and finish. I thought that was like a really sweet moment, and I appreciated like that being like included in here, and like Darcy still like, you know, finding a way for them to have a moment together, you know, despite that. So yeah, I mean, there's like, I feel like there's a lot to like in this book, but the whole like the big like miscommunication plot point device that's being used in this is just so annoying, and I'm like, why did it have to be in there? In any case, I'm gonna finish this up and then I'll come back and let y'all know my final thoughts. I finished it. I have the same thoughts as I did before. I gave this one a 3-star. The like third act conflict didn't end up being as like big of a mess as I thought it was going to be. Like it resolved really quickly, which I feel indifferent about, honestly. So it's whatever. 3 stars. I don't regret reading this. I was mostly entertained while reading this. It was fine. Like I said, a perfectly serviceable romance, but with some annoying aspects. Probably not going to think about this ever again. So that's that on that. It's now time to read my highest rated romance book on my TBR, which is that one book. I'm blanking on the name. I'll come back to you when I've started it. In a week, I think, since I finished Bear With Me Now, I have been slowly making my way through We Could Be So Good by Cat Sebastian, which is the highest rated romance book on my physical TBR. I've been reading it on my Kindle. I was able to get the ebook from Libby, so I don't know exactly how far into this book I am, but I'm like nearly 70% of the way through. I've been reading this one really slowly. When I'm reading it, I'm really enjoying it, but whenever I put it down, I'm never like feeling the itch to go back to it. But I do really like this. I am enjoying this. This is following Nick and Andy. We're getting like perspectives from both of them, but it'll be like chunks at a time. So it'll be like part 1 is all from Nick's perspective, and then part 2 is all from Andy's, and it's like switching back and forth. The first like bit of it is kind of jumping around in time. We're just like moving forward really quickly. So basically like we run through their first like 10 months of knowing each other before it starts like really settling into like the day-to-day, or like more like minutia of their friendship / turning into a relationship. Basically, Nick is a reporter for this newspaper called The Chronicle. Andy also works at The Chronicle. His father actually owns the newspaper, and he is going to be taking over this newspaper when his father steps down, which is likely to be soon because he's experiencing some health problems. And Andy is kind of your classic disaster bisexual. He's just like constantly forgetting things. He needs to be reminded of things a lot. But he's very like golden retriever energy, very sweet, caring guy. Nick already like knows that he's gay, and Andy is discovering that he is bisexual throughout this book. And I should also mention that this is set in the late 50s. So there is like this air of stress for me personally, because you know, at the time, obviously like cops would like go undercover at like gay bars to like arrest people and stuff like that for like vagrancy and what have you. So Nick is like a very, very cautious individual. He's never thought much about like actually having a relationship with anyone. It's just been more like meeting guys for casual things. But he befriends Andy and they become basically like best friends. And Andy was engaged to another lady that was working at this newspaper as well. But their relationship ends up not working out. This is entering spoiler territory. I should mention spoilers. Their relationship doesn't end up working out for reasons, but they're still, I think, friends-ish. And Nick is friends with her as well, and they know about his sexuality. So this is the first time he's gotten like close with people and like actually had friends, because he always feels like he has to like hide a part of himself because he's gay, and is afraid to like get arrested or for it to ruin his career. There's also like a class dynamic between Andy and Nick. Nick is definitely like from a working class family, Italian immigrant family, and Andy obviously is like well off. His father owns the newspaper that they're both working at. So right where I'm at right now, they have, you know, they're entering relationship territory. Like they haven't really like discussed their future, but they're definitely like together, and they're also living together right now, because after Andy's engagement fell through, he just didn't want to live alone, so ended up moving in with Nick because he had an extra room. So they're living together. They are in love with each other, except no one has said anything yet, but like we all know. Do you know what I mean? So I'm just like reading it. It's like a very like slow moving book. It's just kind of following their friendship, but there's also like other things going on too with like Andy, who is like just doesn't feel like he's competent enough to like take over this newspaper. And then Nick is just also dealing with, you know, his future at this newspaper and potentially like going to another newspaper. And then also like he has some family things, like his brother is a cop and is also like kind of homophobic and all of this stuff. So like, yeah, there's just like a lot of like interesting family things going on too. It's a very, I'd say like a kind of quiet romance book. I wouldn't say it's like comedic really. It's just like a romance book. There's sometimes funny parts, there's sometimes drama, sometimes more intense things happening. I guess you could also consider, like, this is considered like a historical romance. I mean, it's set in the 50s. So, yeah. I don't really have much to say right now, so I think I'm just gonna finish it up and then let y'all know my final thoughts. I am liking this, and I do think this is gonna be a higher rating than Bear With Me now. But yeah, I'll come back to y'all when I'm done. Hello, it's like 10-something p.m. I just finished the book. We Could Be So Good. I liked it. I did. I think I'm gonna give this one a 4 stars. I don't really have any more to add. I enjoyed it. Like I said, it's kind of like a quiet, soft romance. It was very cute. I really liked their relationship. And I will say, like, I was stressed because I kept waiting for like the other shoe to drop. Like, I just felt like something bad was gonna happen, and luckily nothing bad really did happen. So good vibes all around. I love that. I think if you're looking for a mostly low stakes romance, particularly like a low stakes queer romance that's like historical too, I would give this one a shot. It was a good time. I really liked it. Yeah, I will come back with a more coherent wrap up to this video. Bye. Okay, I finished both books. I'm here to wrap up this video. Yes, if you're wondering, I am filming this right after I filmed the intro, which is why I look the same. It is what it is. So bear with me now. I gave a 3 star, and We Could Be So Good, I gave a 4 star. So ultimately, I guess Goodreads was right. The lowest rated book on my TBR got a lower rating than the highest rated book on my TBR. But for this one, I think I talked about in the clips, this one was like, it was fine. I didn't feel very strongly or passionately about this book either way. I think it very much encapsulated a 3 star read for me personally. So even though it's like very lowly rated, I think it's just because everyone probably also agrees that it's just kind of your average 3 star read. For this one, I think it has high ratings, 1, because it is a good book, but 2, it doesn't have like a ton of ratings. So I don't think I talked about this in the intro, but Bear With Me Now has a 3.04 stars on Goodreads, which is quite low. But from what I can tell, it seemed like the highest, like most popular rating was a 3 star, and it had 368 reviews and 1,707 ratings. And then We Could Be So Good. Okay, We Could Be So Good actually had quite more ratings than Bear With Me Now. So this one has an average 4.30 rating with 8,740 ratings, 1,952 reviews. So, okay. You know, this was a pretty solid romance book. It wasn't like a 5 star read for me personally, but I really liked what Kat Sebastian did with this romance. I really loved Nick and Andy together. Like I said, it's a very soft and quiet romance. We're just kind of following them over the course of like a little over a year as they become friends and then become more and then kind of grow with each other and find, I think, like really find themselves amongst each other. And it was just pretty solid. I'm definitely gonna read more from Kat Sebastian. I own a few more from this author, so I'm excited to read more from them, and it was pretty solid. I enjoyed it. And this one was fine. Will I read more from this author? I don't know. I feel very indifferent. So I don't have a strong conclusion to end with. I guess for now Goodreads was right-ish, and we'll have to see how this goes as I read from different genres of my physical TBR. I think next will be thrillers, which will be interesting. I'm not a big thriller reader, and I don't have that many thriller books on my physical TBR, so I'm curious to see how that one will go. Thank you for sticking around and watching this video, and I'll catch y'all in the next one.